So Davey Niddle, who has not been called upon to speak, has tweeted, and therefore doesn't need to speak, I guess. I think in a way Davey was summarizing what we've been saying, but also, and doing it brilliantly. 13 of infinite ways of looking at a blackbird. Cubism as the infinite breaking up of perception. Hashtag ModPo Live. Don't go off on this too far, Davey, but in a way what's happening here is that Imagism is like a blink of an eye. There's a moment when Imagism is relevant, but very soon we began to go from the single fantastic Poundian or Hilda Doolittleian moment of capture, stasis, you know, all the emotions rendered in a single image. And quickly we realized that Cubism is a better way of dealing with modern perception. Can you say, really briefly, why? Because it does push us forward towards Stein, and we're not there yet.
Well, in spending time with these poems in this space and thinking about them, the Williams poems in particular are putting a lot of pressure for me as I read them on how fractal looking is. And there's a difference between understanding, you know, in The Red Wheelbarrow, that looking is inherently fractal and having one representation of how fractal that is,
yes.
And in Cubism having infinite representations of how fractal that is, yes, in one moment. And so that seems to be a different, having the fragment of a look and understanding looking is not infinite in a Dickinsonian way, but necessarily partial. To be able to multiply that partiality is just a more accurate kind of partiality.
Yeah, that's really great. That's great. No doubt that moment will be edited and become a video clip in ModPo because that was just so definitive. I think of The Rose is Obsolete, Davey. The Rose is Obsolete is like a battle cry for Imagism, and yet that's only the first line of this poem that's really more Cubist than Imagist. The Rose is Obsolete is something that H.D. absolutely mastered in the Sea Rose, for instance, right? The Rose is obsolete, so it must be precise, it must be stinted, it must be condensed, it must be true, it must be the thing, right? But The Rose is Obsolete is the first line of a poem that goes way off into Cubism. The rose is obsolete, but each petal ends in an edge, and this is a Cubist rose. The double facet cementing the grooved columns of air, the edge cuts without cutting, meets dash nothing dash renews itself in metal or porcelain. Whither? It ends. But if it ends, the start is begun, so that to engage roses becomes a geometry. Oh my God! You know, Williams just blows right past Imagism there.